Hey, it's Danny with this week's lesson. Vulfpeck, I love Vulfpeck. I'm sure most of you music lovers out there do. If you haven't heard him, check him out. I mean, incredibly funky, understated, and so clever and funny, so funny. Anyway, so maybe, like most of us, you're the guitarist in a band, maybe just a trio or a four-piece, and you want to play some Vulfpeck, but you don't have an awesome professor like Woody Goss on the keys. In fact, you probably don't have a keyboard player. So I'm going to take you quickly through one of my favorite songs of theirs, Animal Spirits, and see if we can't work out how to capture the sound of Woody's keyboard parts on a single guitar. All right, before we get underway, as usual, give me some likes, give me some share. If you're into Vulfpeck and you want your other music friends to know about this, how to do this, then please share my clip for me on whatever social media platform you prefer. Thanks. Let's do it. It's in D flat or C sharp or whatever you want to call it, a stupid key. Stupid key for guitar. The main chord pattern for this thing is D flat, which I'm playing using like a G chord moved up to the 6th fret. Just because it's got a nice full sound like the keys, but it really doesn't matter. It's just a D flat major, so you can use that. So anyway, D flat. Then the next two chords. So we've got a C minor 7 flat 5, or some people call it a C half diminished. It's basically like an E flat minor over a C bass note, and it's only there for one beat, and then we go to an F7 sharp, an F7 flat 9. So it's got some pretty funky chords in there. The next two chords are a B flat minor 7 to an E flat 9. And then there's a little chordal run, basically an E flat minor 7. I'm just playing it down here so I'm close to where I want to be for the next chord. So that's a D flat over F. I'm using my thumb on the bass note. Then a G flat, and then a A flat 11. So it sounds like a lot, but if you look at the tabs, it's quite manageable. So let me just go through those chords. So D flat, C minor 7 flat 5 to F7 flat 9, B flat minor 7 to E flat 9, E flat minor 7, D flat over F, G flat, A flat 11. With my thumb doing the bass on those three last chords. And I do a little, because I watched Jack Stratton do a little, overhead cam, here's how I play it on keys, and he was doing a little lick in that E flat minor 7 chord. So the strumming pattern is the next thing. The keyboard pattern, rhythm pattern they're playing is really cool. It's like, so what I'm doing there is down, up, and then up, down, to keep that, steady right hand motion going. Yeah, so cool. But the little bit tricky is getting from the, because they're only one beat. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, and then the next bit. So that part, the chorus is just fantastic in this song. It's got single notes for the and she's got. So you can play it here, but if you're in a band and you've got a bass player, like most of us, maybe play it here. Let's just stay out of their way, or maybe don't even play that, let the bass go. Then you can do the chords. So I've gone down to this D flat for the chorus, D flat, E flat minor 7, D flat over its third, F, and then a G flat, just played as a C chord shape moved up to the 6th fret. So those last chords, which sound so clever, and no other song has that turnaround in it. I'm playing the bass part and the guitar or keyboard chords together there because, you know, keys players do that. Left hand on the bass, right hand on the chords. And I thought that's a nice little challenge. I'll try and work that out. But if I was playing it with a band, I'd probably leave those bass notes to the bass player and I'd just play the little triads on top. So those triads are, so that's like an E flat minor, then a D flat triad, C triad, so we step out of the key momentarily. That's what would you call that? E flat minor triad again, and then our D flat chord at the end. So, but with the bass, first of all, there's a little run that Joe Dart does. First two notes, we don't need any chord over them. Then, so we've got our E flat minor over its third. So I'm playing it like that. Then D flat over its fifth. Then a C. It's actually a C7 because it's got its flat 7 in the bass. Sounds so bad by itself in that context. And then a C minor 7 flat 5, so it's a different inversion of our chord there. So it's, or as I said earlier, E flat minor over a C bass, and our D flat to finish it off. All right, that's that part. So that's our verse and chorus. Now, yes, again, if you're the only melodic instrument in the band, then you're going to cover this song, you've got that great little intro, little melody line. So instead of playing that D flat, you can do it by playing. So what I'm doing there is thumb on my D flat note, D flat triad, just like a little F chord moved up. Flicking my little finger, my pinky on there. When I go to the next change, my C minor 7 flat 5, I'm starting with my finger on the 11th, on the 6th fret there on the B string, to the flat 5. I'm not exactly playing that keyboard line note perfect, I'm just suggesting it. Then you've got to remember to change back to the flat 9 in that chord. Then the next one, B flat minor 7, same thing, we'll drop back to the 11. It's a bit trickier. I'm trying to hammer with my pinky by flattening it out there. Then to an E flat 7, change back to the 9, so let's do it all together. Well, I hope your singer's got a high voice, because man, Theo. Okay, that's our intro, our verse, and our chorus. Now there's another section, there's a bridge, a midsection, whatever you want to call it. And it's straight after a chorus, after that great, so a C, pair of C notes there. It's not actually a chord, just a C note. So what we're doing there is a B flat 7 augmented. So it's basically just a climbing, it's a rising action, when the rising action rises. So we're going to E flat minor 7. I'm playing it as a, what I'm thinking is D flat over its third, but I like the sound of the 9th in there. It's just a great sounding chord, I use it whenever I get the opportunity. Then G flat diminished, or you know, like a E flat 7 over its third. Then A flat. Up on the 5 chord, the A flat, and I'm using my little finger to emulate the little keyboard lick that happens there. And then again, same passage of chords, E flat minor 7, D flat add 9 over its third in the bass, the F note, G flat, And instead of the diminished this time, we go up to the B flat minor, B flat minor, and then back to our 5 again. But it sounds nice with the 11 on it, or the suspended note on top. It's a very specific rhythm for that part. The whole band's nailing that. Then the song comes down and it's got the same chorus riff. But it's an octave higher. So it's a little bit tricky, but I think the easiest way, or best way to do it would be, so our riff is there, 13 on the G string, 13, 15, 14 on the B. And then I'm using those open 10th shapes, some people like to call them. So my D flat root note, my 5th, and my 3rd up on top, or 10th up on top. Yeah, so then you got that nice little flow of triads up the top. Or actually, I'm using 4-note chords there because I'm doubling my highest note in the bass octaves there. So it's like an E flat minor. That's just D flat, C, E flat minor again, and to my D flat major at the end. So. And the second time, it plays that numerous times. 2, 3, 4. So this section is great fun to play. It's the same chords as the intro and the verse. It's the D flat to the C minor 7 flat 5 to the F7 flat 9, B minor 7 or B flat minor 7, E flat 9. But then what I'm doing at the end, it's not perfectly like the keyboard part, but it sounds pretty close, is I'm doing a flat 9 voicing like that. So I've got 4 with my thumb, 4, 3, 4, 2. And then I'm using quite an ugly technique there, I apologise. Basically slamming my little finger down on that D flat triad, still over that same bass note. The second time that pattern ends with a very specific, and this time I'm making it into a 9th chord. I think it sounds just a little bit more like a 9th chord than an 11th chord on the keyboards there, but either works really well. And there you have it. Go check out some Vulfpeck and I'll see you next week.